really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, that when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? Okay, the mic is unmuted. Hello, Mike. There it is, right there. I'm trying to get the chat up here so I can chat with you. So, here I am. Okay. Happy Easter for those who celebrate Easter. Happy Bunny Egg Day for those who are pagan or just like to play with eggs. Eggs were actually one of my businesses, my first business. I love eggs. Not so much to eat, although I just had one. I like decorating eggs. I like doing creative things with eggs. So I've always been weird that way. I learned it from my grandpa. My grandpa used to suck eggs, which is a real thing. You know how people say, go suck an egg? That's because people from the old country back 50, 60, 70 years ago, well, yeah, about 70 years ago, and just before that, came off farms. And in the old countries, they would have a raw egg every morning for breakfast. And they did it by poking a hole in each end and then just sucking it like a clam off a half shell. And I tried that when I was a kid because my grandpa did it and I wanted to be like my papa. First and last time ever. I did not like the raw egg, although I did grow up, oddly enough, to love clams on the half shell, which I also can't eat anymore because, you know, chemo. Now, today, while I was still doing my first cup of tea and my mandarin orange, I watched a video on a woman doing an art piece, not something that was wearable. But I learned so much from that, and yes, it gave me ideas, but not for this purse, because I just want to get this one done since I started it yesterday. We have 5 or 6 hours invested already. Basically, doing something like this is a full day's work. If you get up early and you start early, you will have it done before you have dinner, in most cases. But this is just meant to be a purse for me to use. I'm not trying to market anything. This is to increase my own artistic style. So I'm psyched about doing it. And it's almost felted now. Let's see how you did. Okay, we're gonna take that off. We don't need to felt that around the back. Okay, so I wanted this to have a nice strong roll in the bottom, because that'll be the bottom of the flap. But I like the uneven edges because it says handmade, indeed. And I see the thin spots in this now. And it looks like I really should add a poof. Let's have a poof over here. Even though this is a little bit late in the game, it's not too late. Fiber is still nice and wet. Which way is it running? Looks like this side also. Yeah. I think this is a good idea. Now, I don't tend to like pull on purses or, you know, yank them around. In fact, I don't usually need a purse in my normal day-to-day life. Well, I don't need a big purse anyway. Most of my activities are actually centered around this building, the people in this building. So anyway, after watching this video of a woman doing some impressive textural work, I realized as she was making all these extra textures, she was using resists to build up layers and removing them and ending up with like leaves of fabric, which was pretty damn cool. But that wasn't what got me going. The art piece, when I turned my phone to look at it, it was like, you know, this looks like a vest. This could be made into a vest. And I know that felted vests are actually kind of popular, at least in some areas, and it's a very common item to make because you can do it on a desktop. I guess, you know, just depends on your own size. So I thought Maybe I should make a cool felted vest. Because, like, you know, I don't sew and cannot sew. Which is why this technique is so exciting to me. Okay. Now we go the other way. I really am starting to envy these people with their wonderful large work tables. What can we do? The only way I can expand is by getting rid of all my paints. Well, my acrylic paints. They and the canvas do take up space. All right, so we are going to do this. And perhaps a smaller piece. Or we use this for the moment to get everything battened down. We don't want this to felt to itself, so we're not going to go too crazy here. We'll do this separately after I take it off the mold. Just need to make sure that we have extra thickness here. There you go. Now, let's get these over here. We need to get these felted down better on the top. Yesterday I focused on the main body of the bag. But now we've got the flap. And I want them to dangle. I don't want to cut them down. Let's lift that up. Go. I'll get you battened in a little better in just a minute. Starting to stretch off the mold, which is going to be inconvenient. Now, get you flattened out, battened down. Yep, I may have to just tack this down with a needle later. after it's dry. And pink, so there, back in the container. And you just stay there. Okay. I keep dropping that same piece of plastic onto the floor. Alright, so now let's work this end. Since we've got wool on both sides of this that needs to implant itself. This can always use more. Well, I don't have to worry about those felting because they won't. Now, I didn't expect it to stretch. I think I had too much overhang because we're waiting for it to shrink and get smaller and tighter. Oh, it's doing okay. Not done, but it's on its way, well on its way. A lot of work. So I look at it as I'm building up my physical strength by doing this every day. And there's our needle. As we will trim, definitely. Always putting things down. There we go. Hey there, good morning. Happy Easter. Where is my little bunny? Well, I guess you'll just have to settle for hearts. So how are you doing today? Off to a good start? I think I better continue with this for a few minutes. These nets are great, but they do have one little drawback in that they like to knit with the wool, so sometimes you end up with different colors where you didn't expect. And you have to pick them out. Oh, I'm glad I started later today. I was almost here at 10:30 like normal, or like it always has been, but I got hungry. And I was distracted. I was watching Felting video. It was a more advanced one. And I definitely got into watching it. So, I've decided I'm going to try making a vest. And I don't think I'll have a problem other than size and having to have a friend measure me. And I will make it artsy, an artsy vest. And when I started designing this purse, my first thought was actually to see if I could make a pouch in the front. And I know how. At least I know how to make a pouch, but not a pouch with a flap yet. So I'm still learning. But I decided to just go with a straight single pocket to start. And I made another mold to make something to hold my water bottle. So my water bottle will be insulated with wool, which is lighter than my thermos style water bottle. I do have one of those, so I don't reuse plastic for too much, but I noticed it's pretty heavy. Even though I got a slimline one, it's not like the bigger old ones that make, like going to work with a thermos full of 2 cups of coffee. Yeah, we got wavering here, but that's all right. Everywhere it's attached, when this all dries up, it'll make these cool textures. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out. Now I understand why they say make sure you get your edges well, because after I got the whole basic thing done, I mean everything laid out, and did the first wetting, I saw that I could see the black tape through this corner, which means it's not going to be strong. So I added more wool, but I can still see the black tape. It is a difficult place to felt, corners. So I can see why people do the flat resist style, because you don't have to worry about that. A lot easier to get. So I did add some more wool to this, but it looks like I'm going to need to add a little more. Although when I felt this with the needle to thicken it up, that might take care of that right there. What color do we have there? We've got the pink. Could use some more pink, I guess. No, I think we're just going to leave it. It is felting, it's just, yeah, no, I take that back. We're going to go ahead and try a little extra. Use a different wool. You have to have it crisscross or it won't felt. Okay. Oh, stay there. Stay right there. All right. Oh, you know what? I've got a crisscrossy pink here. I did not do all that crisscrossing over there. I didn't want to do too much of this. I do want it to be kind of even though it is abstract. Alright. I'm gonna roll it on in. I like just getting the bubbles on there because you get your soap for sure, but not too much water. That was mostly water. I can't believe that my hands aren't more chapped. Since I'm using, well, I'm using regular Dawn soap. a lemon soap that does not have the degreaser in it. So it's not like stripping me of all my oils. It's also second rate at cleaning my greasy dishes when I have them. I will have to buy a bottle of Dawn. So what are you doing today? Do you have another hot, dry day? We have rain all day. Matter of fact, the potential for thunderstorms. And wind. Definitely got windy. I had to close the windows a bit. I saw that. Get rid of you. Yep, that's still moving. All right. It's working. Let's try that side. How to exercise your whole arm. I did not like the texture. Let's go back to smooth. All right. I saw one of the felt artists using a rolling pin that looks like a waffle iron, really big chunky wood. I'm afraid it might have been handmade for somebody because I cannot find that online. All I can find are things with cute things, like you're doing it with dough or clay or paint, but it is not felting. Yeah, I forgot to see how many arm steps I do today. Okay, well, it's still early, so I've only got 1,800 steps. I haven't gone out of the apartment yet. Nope. It is harder to felt in. But I can hold it in place with a pin. There you go. Don't you start going anywhere. Where else are you trying to lift? Where I just added. I can't wait to take it off the mold and work it by hand. Yep, still trying to lift there. Let's fix that. Now, I probably would not have thought of it was okay to do this needle felting at the same time you're wet felting, but I saw another artist in England do it in making as close as possible to a transparent bat wing in a bat sculpture. And I admire the people who do the sculptures. I just don't have any interest in doing it myself. I mean, I might have if I was much younger, but now I don't want more things to hang around the house, more sculptures, more anything. I'd like more clear space. And I want to wear my art. So definitely what's gotten my felting interest is wearable art. Oops, sorry. I hate when I do that. You're okay. I asked what you were going to do today. Oh, yeah, this one wants to pull up. Yeah, using the needle definitely holds things in place while you felt them. Wet felt. It's a helpful technique. See, that is actually a little thinner right there. I'm going to have to live with that mistake. Yeah, I can feel it now. This will help it make more texture because it's going to shrink at different angles. A little more soap. How do these hairs get back in here? All right, let's have it doing. Aha! You newbies are rising. I don't want you to do that. You too. Okay. You're dry. Hey, stay there. Let's get your needle down. Fine, I'm glad I worked on top of styrofoam. we'll see how this holds together. Okay. They do anything Eastery in your area? Easter parades, Easter picnics? Oh, good. Getting nice and stretchy now. Look at that. It's forming the fabric. The annual meeting, right? That and Christmas. Okay, we're getting really close now. Most of it is felted together, but I made additions to strengthen it. And they take longer to work back in since everything else was mostly felted. But anything that falls off or looks like it's going to fall off, I'll just needle felt in after it's dry. Don't you get mixed in there. We don't have enough of you. What are you stuck on? Oh, that's part of the plastic. Little black dot. It's harder than the rest of the plastic. I just want to make sure it doesn't get transferred. Hey. Man, it must have been a real bitch to you do this when they had to use steam and harsh chemicals. If only they knew about plastic. There wasn't any back then. I'm getting messages again. 888. No, no, no. That away. Thank you. Oh. Ex-husband sent a note, picture. 5 friendly Connecticut towns that are overflowing with New England charm. I have to see what these are. Because if they say my town, we're going to have to slap them back to history. They're saying my town might make you feel like you might actually be in Old England rather than New England. I have to laugh at that. Aw, your kitty cats. And a monster saying Happy Easter. And Oinkness's husband sent Happy Easter. And my friend Maureen sent a cute little GIF. All right. I am loved. Oh, almost lost us. Not ex-Glenn. No, first husband, Tommy. He was a good guy. We didn't break up because we had fights. We broke up because he wanted to have a baby. And he wanted to stay in California, and I couldn't have babies, and I wanted to come back to New England. Oh, Tommy's a good guy. I wouldn't want to be married to him, you know, but he's a good guy. And he's married, and I'm happy for him. And he got the daughter he wanted. Well, he actually wanted a son, but he's very happy being a girl dad, very clearly. She is into rebuilding cars, of all things. And that's actually something he had a passion for as a young man. So that worked out. Okay, well, it does feel thicker. I tried to make the bottom a little heftier. I think we're not far from being able to take it off the mold and do the rest of the work by hand. Aww. we're definitely going to have to tack that in better. It wants to come up. We'll use the needle later. Oh, yeah, get her out there. Lovey-dovey her up. All right, dare I take this off? Well, we need to work it on the other side, so here it goes. All right, lay there for now. Look at that black hair in there. Sheep's wool. It looks so white when you're putting it down. You don't see these black hairs until it gets wet. And then you go, what the hell is that? I think I'll just leave it inside the purse. Okay, we're going to roll this a few times, then I'm going to turn it back on the right side and roll it again. From here on in, it's pretty much just rolling. We don't want you doing that to yourself. Do this the other way. Too much stuff here. I'm surprised Maui is still asleep with his cat. Cyrus likes to wake him up early. take a walk in the hallway, make sure everything is clear before he takes his nap. Hello there, how are you? Karen Grassel was hungover in most of her... I have no idea who Karen Grassel is. How you doing, Kat? Oh, you're still trying to come up. Now this is the inside layer. This should be already very, very well felted. Maybe it was too thick to do it that way. So let's give it the bubble wrap treatment. Oh, my phone keeps going over. Oh, the mother? Full of schnitzels. Ooh, what kind? I love the girl who played Nellie. What she grew into was an amazing woman. Why is my camera... I keep losing my chat over here. Hold on. Can't read it. Yesterday pork, today chicken, and tomorrow chicken again? Sounds yummy. Making me hungry. I had a very small breakfast just before I went on because I wanted to get to this. I've already put so many hours into it. I want to get it finished today. I would appreciate it if you would uppercase. Thanks. Oh, tomorrow both. Oh, nice. What do you eat with your schnitzel? Make sure it doesn't felt itself together. We're going to have to do some minor repairs with the needle. But the basic shape is done. The decorations are attached. I just have to finish working it so it finishes felting. Usually potato salad. Oh, rice or potatoes. I haven't decided. Well, I guess yesterday I was supposed to cut up a whole chicken and freeze all but what I was going to eat for dinner. And I didn't get to that because I ran out of time because I got into this instead. Before I knew it, it was 7 p.m., which is 2 hours later than I like to eat dinner. So I took a piece of chicken I'd already had flattened out, ready to cook. I haven't done potato salad in years. I don't really do much in cold food. And what country are you in? A lot of cake. Oh, and steamed ham. Steamed ham. I've never had it that way. Well, you could teach me something or two in the kitchen. Well, I'm glad to see you here today. In the South, everyone brings potato salad. Yeah, potato salad, macaroni salad, those two are always there. But in the South, it made sense because it's hot so much of the time. And when I lived in North Carolina, I also did a lot of salads. But usually green veggie salads with additions like cold chickpeas. Yeah, a bunch of cold things that made it healthier in a whole meal. Feta, cheese, things like that. Yeah. Oh, he puts peas in it? I think I've seen that, but not in many years. Now, I like my potato salad with onion, celery, maybe a few shavings of carrot for color more than flavor. I don't like a whole lot. Oh, pickles. I like to chop up pickles. Also, I like to use tartar sauce instead of mayo. Yeah, I like that version too. But lately I've been getting into kimchi. Have you ever had that? It's a Korean food. It's fermented cabbage. Hot. Oh my goodness, it is hot. I got two versions. I got a mild and a spicy. And I haven't tried the spicy yet because the mild is already all the heat that I can take. But I did buy it on sale, so... Yeah, okay, sometimes I like a hard-boiled egg cut up into it. I don't like things mushy. I don't like the texture of mushy. So I'm more likely, like for egg salad, instead of making an egg salad, I'll make the hard-boiled eggs and slice them and then just put it on a sandwich with the other stuff on top. I can do the egg, but no peas. I don't know, peas seem strange and potato salad. Although pea salad by itself, chilled peas with dill or mint, Very good. Somebody sent a message again. Who? Oh, my friend Diane in California. She must have just gotten up, if she's lucky. She's got grandchildren, so she will be busy with Eastery things for the grandchildren, no doubt. Maybe I should put a piece of plastic in there. Actually, what I need to do now is throw it. Default Christmas and Easter's. Really? Growing up, it was a deli thing. It was usually a special occasion when we were able to afford deli mates. So we would get things like hot pastrami, corned beef. Like some people ate turkey slices, not me. I've never liked turkey or chicken sliced in a deli situation. I like them cold, but not as deli mates. Anyway, we would get those and the bread and pickles and macaroni salad and potato salad. But that was like, it wasn't holidays. As a matter of fact, a lot of times it was after someone died and everybody would go back to the house and eat. And you're grieving, so you didn't cook. People brought dishes, and that way was a bit like the South, having a viewing where you show up and there's lots of food and you stand around and cry and talk and laugh. Get a load of this a bit. Oh. So is your favorite potato salad, is instead of using like something creamy, do they use like the vinegar? Something more tart? Because I've had German potato salad, or at least that's what they called it when I was growing up in New York, and that had no mayonnaise. It was tart. I liked it, and it had onion and didn't have as much in it as the mayo type, but it was good. It wasn't squashy, which is what turns me off, the texture. Now, when growing up, I did not like many of those kinds of things. Like tuna salad, no thank you. Egg salad, no thank you. Just the looks of them would gross me out. Like, then as an adult, things changed. I got more adventurous. I tried different things. I discovered, oh, I actually like that if it's done this way. So I learned to cook and make things as I liked them rather than suffer what other people were eating just because they were eating it. All right, I am going to take this into the kitchen and we're going to wash it. Or I should say, we're going to rinse out the soap. Because I need to see what's going to stick and what's not going to stick. Ice cold with crunch. Yes, crunchy onion, definitely. Yep. But now my favorite way of eating potatoes is most definitely hot. If I'm in a rush, I'll take the raw potato and clean it and slice it in half, the longest way, and nuke it for a few minutes to get it a little tender. But then I put it cut side down in a frying pan with a little bit of oil and butter, and as it cooks you smash it so you get crispy on both sides. They're called smashed potatoes. That's my favorite potato now. A little more work, but oh, so good. Only problem with it is I tend to overeat if I make. Sometimes I lie to myself and say I'm making enough for 2 days, because I used to cook for 2 days. And now it's like if I cook for 2 days, it will never make it to the second day, because those potatoes are addictive. And I will just eat all of them. Another thing I discovered is the air fryer. If you like quarter up a potato, roll it around in some oil and seasonings, and then put it in your air fryer. Cooks super fast and gets crispy, and oh my goodness, that's another thing I can't do anymore because I eat too much. It's just too tempting. They just go down so easily. Just vinegar one with fish? Well, it makes sense. I know a lot of people do malt vinegar with their fish if the fish is fried. It doesn't sound like, if it's just plain, I don't think I'd like it. It's strange how some people, they come up with these combos and you assume that it's because they've studied it, and it says if you do this it'll digest better or you'll get more availability for your vitamins, but a lot of it is just economy and not caring. Excuse me. After the holidays I'll again have some. Then leave your wallet home. And never tell anybody what's in your wallet. It makes you a victim very fast. You gotta be cool, reserved, keep a secret. And I have never done bacon in my air fryer because, well, just because it seemed like too sloppy for me. But when I do bake, and I only do at the most 3 slices, it's not worth it. I just put it in the frying pan. And I also learned if I do it in the frying pan, I can put maple syrup on it when it's almost done, which will make it finish faster and also make it sticky and yummy and probably not all that healthy for you. Who needs the extra sugar? But oh my goodness, maple bacon is really yummy. My air fryer, I've got a new air fryer, and it's different than the ones I've had before. It has a heat element on the bottom as well as the top. And it changes the way it cooks and cleans up. Yesterday I went to clean it. I mean, like really, like turn it upside down kind of clean it. And look what was at I noticed a blast pattern. Because I had just gone through the soaking overnight and scrubbing it, you know, because they get dirty really fast. I clean it between every single use, but it got really bad, really fast. It seemed like on the far side, like, you know, you pull the drawer open, and the far side, the whole wall was splattered. I made a couple of chicken thighs, and they had skin on them, and normally I don't get stuff with skin on it, but it was one of those chickens I cut up like I'm going to do later. And all the fat went over against the one wall, the back wall of it, and up where the air fryer fan was. I wiped away drops of fat. That bothers me. It's like, this is something that could easily catch fire. And I don't like that at all. See that? This is a black sheep hair, and it is extra kinky. And the weirdest thing about it is that I can be sitting here pulling out, and it has a totally different feel. It doesn't felt. It doesn't wet felt. It's like a very strange hair. It's almost like a, pardon my English, but it's kind of like a pubescent hair. Why do you want to get rid of some of the cash? Why don't you just stick it in a bank or where no one will ever find it except for you? You avoid all the smoke. Well, I don't get any smoke because the safest way to cook your eggs and your bacon is in a lower heat. So it's slower, but it's safer, and I never get smoke. I suppose, I mean, I've seen people, and I've seen instructions on how to cook bacon in the air fryer. My favorite thing to cook in it, though, that comes out so perfectly is salmon, fresh salmon. I freeze it, of course, and that looks like an eyelash. I freeze it and then just take it out of the freezer, coat it with whatever flavoring I want, and stick it in there. And because it's starting off with frozen in the center, it doesn't get overcooked. So I get the, like if I put sesame seeds on it, the sesame seeds get darker, but you don't overcook the center. Oh my goodness, they take a fee for depositing cash? That should be illegal. You shouldn't get a fee for depositing any money. They're making money off your money. Yeah, I don't blame you. Just don't tell anybody. I'm glad that you have extra money. Just keep it your secret. To think of it as practicing keeping a secret. No one's going to get that information out of you. And then when you need it for something, it'll be there. I learned the worst people were the family. Oh my God. I inherited a couple $1,000s. And the first person waiting there with the handout was my father for borrowing my money, which I never saw again. So, yeah. That was supposed to pay off my new car. All right, it's felting up better now. It's starting to shrink. That's what we want to see. Some shrinkage. How'd you end up with all the cash? Holiday gifts? I almost never have cash on me. Not because I'm worried about it being stolen. If it's on me, I'm more likely to spend it faster. So I don't like to have it on me. I use a debit card most of the time. All right, we're going to have to tack that in. Let me get a piece of foam. Oh, there we go, right there. Ah. You're a what is that, a usurer? Not sure what that means. All right, let's try this again. Oh, you know what? I'll wash it first. All right, I'm gonna go rinse this and then I'll be right back. Who's writing? Oh, that's right, Diane. Okay. So if they borrow from you, they have to pay you 100%. They borrow $1 or €1, they have to pay you back €2. Cool. No, we didn't get a chance to do anything like that. If they say they need the money and they take it, you never see it again. Well, actually, one of my sisters, I did help her out. And if I send money to somebody, I don't expect a return. I don't send what I can't afford to send, and if I send it, it's a gift. But she generously, after she got herself back on her feet, sent me a little gift certificate with which I bought my Dutch oven. So I'd say that was I sent 100, got 50 back. It worked out okay. Oh yes, your father, absolutely. I wasn't expecting to get ripped off when that happened to me, but I learned down the road. As if I give somebody money, it's gone. I just don't even think about it anymore. I don't expect it to be repaid. I don't give it with the idea that it's going to be repaid. But that's a different situation for me than it is for you. Okay, I'll be back in just a couple minutes. I'm going to put the song on so you know I'm coming back. I'll put this mic off so you don't have to hear my running water in the kitchen. If it wasn't for cigarettes, you don't smoke, do you? Please tell me you don't do that terrible thing.
I woke up feeling like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming? Or wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, but when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming or on the edge of remembering? Who will you be tomorrow? And what are you today?
Okay, I am back. I have to line this up. It's going to have to get rinsed again and soaked with some vinegar. But we've got the basic body done. But it needs more felting. So let's see. Hey, Doc. Aloha. How be you today? Aside from wake too early. So what are you doing today? I don't celebrate Easter, but thank you anyway. Happy Easter to you. Okay. Now we got the general shape. I will have to make a strap for it, but this is going to be my new handbag. Fly me to the moon. I'll get in trouble if I sing more. You know how YouTube gets about those copyrights and more. In other words, And there's a funny movie called Down with Love where they use that song when they're showing two people getting ready for their date. One of them is the guy is listening to the Frank Sinatra version, and the woman is listening to I forget the woman. She does blues and old torch songs. She's really good, and she's more current than Sinatra, who of course is, croaked. Hey, stop moving. We're gonna really have to knock that back. Now this worked so well with my first purse. I expected this to do better. But I'm going to end up having to add some other embellishments to make sure I can tack everything down, keep it where it belongs. What is that? What is a fratellis? I am not familiar with that. Vapor Cat has been enjoying schnitzels. Made with green bananas. Well, green bananas, as long as they're cooked, they're good for you. New tenant, huh? Is he into the garden? Does he have a car? I don't know what a fratelli is. Are you thinking of fritters? And spell check changed it? Oh, I didn't believe this didn't do any felting at all. It can't be. So we got good felting there. It's making nice texture now, like I knew it would. Hey, He has a big dog that the ladies with small dogs don't like him. Make friends with the big dog. They're less skittish than those little ones. So, Kat, what are you doing for the rest of the day? Ew. We have those here. We generally aren't fond of them. Biggest gossipers in the building. We actually had a meeting about gossiping because some of these women can't shut their mouths. Yeah, those are the people that don't keep secrets, Maui. Keep that in mind. And they frequently want attention enough where they will say all kinds of stuff just to get it. Now, I know you have already managed to avoid a lot of cray-cray. Keep doing it. They made sure you knew they were there, no men around them when they moved in. Avoid loud people, they are vexations to the spirit. Old Lady Kravitz. They'll probably all gravitate together because they're all going to be into gossip. The first one that leaves that circle is the first one that gets burned by the others. See, we have group activities in my building. We have exercise, we have Wii bowling, we've got bingo. And usually most of the same people go to all of it. But there's a definite distinction between the bowling crowd, because they don't bowl, they just go to watch and talk. The bowling crowd that just likes to sit and talk about other people and stuff, you know, they got something to say about everything, like me, but not like that. They don't attend the group that I'm part of, which is the Creative Circle. We do talk, but we talk about art and projects and things we want to do and see. Way different, you know. We talk about ideas, they talk about other people. You want to be around people who talk about ideas. The others, now I don't want to say they're a waste of energy, because everybody's got something of value to offer the world. But if all they're going to do is sit around and gossip. So I don't hang out with the bowling group because that's their big thing. And if there's going to be some kind of friction, so far it has almost always come from that group. We have no problems with the art group. We have no problems with the exercise classes. We've got no problem with, well, I guess the same people that do the Wii bowling also do bingo. But it's a mixed crowd there, so they have to behave themselves. Yeah, just... You know, I don't mind talking about the weather because the weather has become rather interesting to me, globally speaking. But I don't really get into chit-chat. I find that really boring. The black one was all the way down there. Wow, that really wove in. Okay, that's a good thing. But we're going to have to cut that out. Anyway. Let's get across here some. We have a person here she's from this town. Another one of those young, well, she's not young anymore. She's just about ready to get Social Security, but she's one of the typical women who grew up abused and misunderstood and all. And so she's a bit on the defensive side, but she does not like to argue or get involved with any bullshit. But she started depriving herself of the good stuff because she didn't want to be in the same room or at the same table with people she knew were, you know, potentially troublemakers. And in one case, definitely troublemakers. So I said, don't let other people dictate what you are going to do for your own joy. Ignore them. Well, they don't like me. And I said, no, it doesn't matter what she likes or doesn't like. It's not about her. It's about you. You like to create. You want to create more. Join the Creative Circle. Be with us. And sit down at the same table as that bitch. And if she's got a problem with you, let her be the one that leaves. You join the table where you're going to have some fun. Don't change your behavior. Don't change who you are to accommodate others or just to avoid conflict. You can be right there in the middle of the room and avoid the conflict. Don't engage. The one woman who started that problem, that she actually used my name, and that just put me through the roof. Well, she had made the same statement about this other woman. It's like, we're going to have some words right now. We're not letting this sit in the back burner for gossip. And that was when the person who made all the trouble, she's a touchy-feely old lady, grandma style, not in a bad way. But she'll tap you on your shoulder or, little things like that. Well, I'm not like that unless I know you really well. I'm not a touchy-feely person, and neither is this other woman. Well, when you have an autistic guy who was told by her that I touched him, and at first she said the other woman touched him, and it's like, no, when he said, I came down and he wanted to talk to me privately, and I went out, and he said, I was told that you're the one that touched me, and I said, what do you mean? I never touched you. Well, yes, you touched you. She watched you. She said that you did it. And I said, what are you talking about? And it turned out what he was looking at, somebody touched his cheek like that and touched his shoulders from behind. Or I would think that if it was in front, he would know who it was who touched him. But the woman who caused the problems said it must have been me or the other woman. It's like, we're going to get this straight right now. And I went right into the room with the one who said that in the first place. I said, would you please explain to him what you meant? Because she and I did not touch him. We never touched him. We're not touchy-feely people. Nobody else saw us touch him, but you said to him, you saw us touch him. Let's get this straight right now. And then she did the backpedaling. Oh, no, I just meant that, you two are women who might be a little bit grandmotherly and affectionately touch someone. I said, no, never happened, never will. I got pissed, and I made sure everybody knew it. Like, we're not going to start this rumor bullshit, and I'm not going to have this poor guy walking around thinking he's being inappropriately touched. When I say inappropriate, I don't mean in a sexual way touching. I mean, it's inappropriate to touch someone unless you already know it's okay to touch them. And since both the other woman and I were aware that he's got problems in the way, he's got a lot of anxiety issues. Like, we don't touch people like that. You don't touch anybody without permission. Like, I don't just hug people. I make sure they're going to be okay with the hug, because most of my life I wasn't. I did not want to be touched unless you got permission. Well, Gary, if you lived here, you would probably get all the hugs you could want. But basically, and I do hug some people, but those are people that I've known for 4 years, and we have a history where it's okay. And matter of fact, my autistic friend, there are some days he wants a hug and some days he doesn't. I don't just assume he does, and I don't just touch him, because he may not be ready for that. So I always make sure I'm looking at him, and if he looks like he needs a hug, I'll say, do you need a hug? And if he says yes, I will hug him. But I let him do the leading with what he's comfortable in doing. He's like 56 years old. He grew up in this same building. He's been in this building for over 30 years. So we know more about him. I worked with him. He was in my positivity group, which I started because he was in grief. I was grief counseling. So, we have history. This other guy is newer, and I don't know all his problems. He was in a coma for a while, I know that much. He's a very nice guy, and it's hard to understand him when he speaks because he's missing a bunch of teeth in the front. And he's got a little bit of a Spanish accent. I can do better with the accent than I can with the missing teeth and my bad hearing. I hate having him have to repeat himself when he says something to me. But again, I would never, ever assume anybody wants a hug. They have to have their body language. The body language says if they're open to being touched or not. So, I mean, if you came up behind me and gave me a hug, you're likely to end up with a broken nose when my elbow comes back, or a broken rib, because I don't react well to people just touching. And I've warned people about that. So don't come up behind me. Use my name. Make sure I know it's you. So everybody, you know, not everybody can express their boundaries as clearly as I do. Well, Gary, everybody's so different anyway. And what's happening now is people are starting to pay more attention to that instead of assuming. You know, it's like the way men treat women like they're idiots. I just saw a test that a company did with their employees where the men set up a test to identify, challenging the women in the company to identify different things. And the women blew them away. The women knew it all. And they said, how do you know what Michigan tools are? How do you know what this John Deere logo is? How do you know that? You're a woman. It's like, you know, women do make things. We have put men on the moon. If it wasn't for women, men wouldn't have gotten to the moon. The women did the math. Right, people are bipolar. I've got a few of those people living in my building. My dear friend who I've been teaching wet felting, who's into felting now, she's got Asperger's syndrome, which is, they don't call it Asperger's anymore because he was a Nazi and he was not good to people. But he identified the autistic state, anyway, of that particular neurological divergence. And she, you know, I said, okay, I want you to be comfortable around me, so you tell me what you want to do. You tell me what makes you comfortable. It's like, I love going out to eat with her, and she'll take me to the store, and then I treat her to lunch, and we love going to this China buffet. Well, they've got, the buffet has a little area that's kind of glassed off right next to the buffet. So you can sit there real close, and because she's got lymphoderma, she's a bit like a Michelin man where her legs and her hands and everything are swollen all the time. And, you know, she's been through a lot physically. And people look at her because she's still got the thin hair from going through cancer treatment. Yeah, she's been through a lot. So she gets weird looks, and she moves slowly, but I move slowly now too. But I know, you know, she needs to stretch her legs out. So I always, when I go in, I'm right there first, and I say, can we sit over there? And I make sure we've got a table where she can stretch her legs out and feel comfortable, and also we don't have very far to walk to get the food. And so she likes that. Also, because the glass is up around us, she feels more secure and isolated than being vulnerable and open where there's too much information coming in. So you have to learn to work with people. Everybody's got something, and just because they're different doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that you might have to make a little bit more of an effort to get to know them, to understand them. You know, it's just being human. And back when we were kids, not you, Gary, well, yeah, you too, they didn't know about a lot of stuff. When I was in 8th grade, I was teaching a couple of emotionally disturbed young kids from 2nd grade. And it was an experimental thing, but I learned about learning disabilities. They were new. This researcher in Israel came over, actually, and he had discovered learning disabilities that kids were not being tested for because they didn't have a test. And they could recognize when people had vision problems or hearing problems, their speech was disrupted. They identified some of the most outstanding things, a stutter, but they did not know about neurodivergence because anybody that was outside the average was just cast aside. They didn't spend any time trying to understand them or help them. There are many, look, my stepfather, 96 now, he spent more than 30 years as a New York City judge, a family court judge. And even after he retired at 80, he was still doing work on the bench. That's how esteemed he was. And he's autistic. He has problems handling his emotions. I just say, he's somebody you don't hug, okay? He's like Sheldon Cooper in Touching. He does not want to be hugged. He doesn't like hearing all the I love you things. You say I love you, and he says, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's him. So we're all different. And I am not a person who likes instant friends. I make instant acquaintances. I make those connections very easily because I'm outgoing. I like people. I accept them for who they are. And so, for me, it's great. Other people, they have a harder time with things. You got to be patient. Or as Mary Cooper said about Shelley, as Daddy always said, you got to take your time with Shelley. So you take a little bit more time, and then you discover awesome people. My friend Maureen is very talented, but she got used to seeing herself through the lens of others, where they didn't care if she was talented. She had Asperger's. They just assumed that she's too sick to do this and too stupid to do that or not, and where she's not stupid at all. She's very smart. She just is not a boaster. She's very modest. And people, she just heard so many, downers growing up that she stopped reaching as much. She does wonderful needlework. Cross stitch, man, she's like a perfectionist. The front looks like the back. I mean, she's amazing. She'll tell you where the flaw is, but she's a great artist that way. And when she got into trying a needle felting workshop, it was like, all right, let's go. She found she really did like it. She took another workshop, and she bought some kits and tried it on her own. And she's improving, and I've been showing her. That's what we're doing Friday now. It's like, bring your felted project where you're at, and I'll help you fine-tune it, whatever you're doing. Because I'm learning too. But, so we have a good time. And we're creating, and I think it's really important for people to create. Express yourself. And it doesn't have to be art. It could be anything. It's just doing something besides staring at a TV, Not that I haven't spent lots of time doing that, but I've never been able to sit and watch TV and not do something with my hands. Even down on the farm, Glenn and I always watched movies after we ate because there really wasn't much else to do, aside from sex. We had the dogs, we had the farm, we had a lot of work, and at the end of the day, it was like the end of the day. Time to chill, enjoy some 420 moments, and the TV went on. Now, we didn't have actual TV. We had the television and a VCR. We watched movies. We watched whatever his sister would send from California. That kind of a thing. But I could not just sit there and watch. And neither could he. He studied drawing, and I painted rocks, and I made tassels, and I made gifts. So my hands were always busy. Weaving, did a bunch of weaving. So I've never been able to just sit in front of the TV except with a brand new first time around movie. Then it's bad because then I want to watch the movie and I don't want to see anything else. It's like, leave me alone, don't talk to me, I'm studying the movie. I'm really able to suspend disbelief and really get into the movie. So I'm one of those people you'll see on the edge of your seat when it's a new movie. Only when it's a new movie. First time around, I got to see everything. Second, third, fourth, fifth time around, more relaxed. But I made a lot of stuff while watching those movies. That's when I started doing the painted rocks, actually, down south. think you still have some soap in this. That's okay. I'm going to probably soap it up a little bit more anyway, right now. No, the little house was in a different generation. I was already on my own and supporting myself when that program came on. And the only episodes I caught was when I was visiting a friend to do card readings for her party, and they would have the TV on in the living room, and I could watch things when I would take a break. I would do a few readings, then I'd go and take a break, catch a buzz, and watch TV. That's how I also saw Kung Fu. I did not own my own TV at the time, and didn't want to. I know you're into Little House right now. I think that's so sweet. It was an excellent show. How many seasons was it on? That was on a while. It was on past 8 years. Yeah. Back in those days, I was an entertainer myself, and I wasn't usually watching, I was doing. I was either busy writing music or performing it. So, no, TV was one of those things I caught when I went to visit somebody. And because it was so rare that I actually saw television, I was fascinated by the commercials as well. Anything that came on, I was like glued to the tube. Like, wow, I didn't know about that. When I moved in here, you know, I take the senior bus to the stores sometimes, and they do a Walmart trip once a month. So I went, and that's when the bus is the most crowded. I got to meet a lot of people all at once, and it was fun. But then a couple of them were absolutely shocked and appalled to find out that I did not own a TV. The next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call from the senior center. They have something for me. They'd like to know when they can drop it off. It's like, oh, really? It was a giant TV with a VCR. It's like, it was used, thank God, but it's like, oh. You know, it's like, you know, they went out of their way and they really are excited to give this to you, and you're like, you have to act excited and thankful because it was so sweet of them to do that, but nothing that I wanted. Oh no! Do you remember what the scene was? I do remember Gremlins. I think I was married to my first husband when that came out. I got married in 1983. So I'm not sure. I hate when they do that. Because, like, I saw Zorro the Gay Blade. I had that on a VHS tape. And then the tape died. And it was like, I love this movie. It is one of the funniest movies ever. And the star is George Harrison, not the music. What's his name? He's an actor, always tan. It's even a joke about his tan. Hamilton. George Hamilton? Anyway, handsome dude. He played Zorro. And I had that movie just about memorized. And then I had to buy the DVD of it. And one of the funniest lines was missing. It was too gay for them, I guess. And they removed it on the DVD version. Now, the problem is, see, you have to have, when you do different versions, you actually have to have a different version. You have to cut something out. But it's what they cut out that makes the difference, right? They're not told what you have to cut out to put it on another version. So HBO had to make it different from the original. But they did not have to remove cinematic history. They could have just done a very simple scene change or cut, and it would have been fine. Antonio Banderas, good-looking guy. But that's not the movie. That's Zorro. I said Zorro the Gay Blade. Years before Antonio. The woman talked about her father dressed as Santa Claus. Yeah, I don't remember. Because I've only seen that movie once, I think. So, a very long time ago. And I don't remember much about it other than don't look at them wet and don't feed them after midnight. I think they messed up the clock, right? Now, Zorro the Gay Blade was very daring because of gayness. And they didn't actually say gay, but they made sure you understood, because Zorro had a twin brother who was gay, who had joined the British Navy. He had the greatest silly laugh that you couldn't help but laugh with him. Very funny movie. I loved it. But he hurt himself escaping a little escapade, and it would have made him unable, well, he became unable to help the poor people, and the bad guy was really hurting the poor people, and then killed his father, which is, you know, it parallels the original Zorro story. His brother came for the funeral, or came to say hello, and then found out, oh, his father just died. And he's ready to just go back to his friends, but his brother says, no, no, you must help me and free the Pipples. Oh, God, that rings a bell. So they removed that? So what, they removed the tragedy from the movie? Boeing. What? Going down. Right. Well, that's what I figured. Yeah, that's a pretty important kind of a scene. It sets the emotional, it's the emotional set point of the movie. Well, George Hamilton had to play himself and his twin brother. His twin brother was very openly gay and flamboyant as all hell, and he spoke with a British accent, whereas the other brother, who never left Spain, he had a Spanish accent, very heavy, and he was definitely the gorgeous, sexy one. Well, sexy for women. But it was so fun that they had to do a scene where he's dancing with the bad guy and he's dressed as a woman so he could steal a necklace. Very funny movie. I suggest if you haven't seen Zorro the Gay Blade, find a copy. It's hilarious. Hamilton did such an excellent job. His laugh will stay with you. It's like, you cannot forget that laugh. It makes you laugh right along with him. Right, we're getting there. I'm already plotting the next project in my head. But the next thing I've got to do is make the handle for this, which we're going to make out of wool. And this for extra strength. We don't want it tearing apart. If I'm foolish enough to put a water bottle in this, no, it'll be strong enough to carry a water bottle. I wouldn't put anything sharp in it. The reporter should tell a story about a father. The male guy was talking to himself. Oh. Oh. Bad editing. One of my prized videos is different because I bought it when it was a forbidden VHS copy. It was banned in the United States. Well, it was banned around, it was banned from anybody growing tobacco state. All right. Anybody in the tobacco industry, they were trying to squash the movie. And it was called, oh God, what is it called? Mr. Accident. So I found Mr. Accident after years. I found it on a DVD and I bought it. And they also did the same thing. They left out an important line because it had to be a different version. But when I got it, I bought it from a like a Blockbuster video. You know how they always bring in stuff and then they sell it? Well, they had that sent to them by MGM. So they had this tape that wasn't even supposed to be out on the shelves, and they just went and put it on sale. Well, I was already in love with Reckless Kelly and Young Einstein by the same guy, so I saw Mr. Accident. It was like, I'm going to take it, and I bought it. And I was like, oh my God, it even starts with the warning that if you're watching this, you're not supposed to be. It's a property of MGM. It was a promotional copy to see if they wanted to order any of them for their store. And they didn't because I was in North Carolina where they grow tobacco. And the movie is clearly anti-tobacco. It covers the whole way that the tobacco industry has tried to find different clever ways to feed you tobacco because they hated having any controls put on them for selling addictive chemicals. and it shows the addiction and how fast it can happen, and on and on. I mean, it's very funny. It's not like it's teaching you a lesson kind of a thing. It was a very good movie, and it was actually a love story. Isn't that disgusting, Doc? Isn't that disgusting? Cut her right out. Cut her pain right out. Yep. Well, they certainly didn't cut his lines. What a shame. I'll keep that in mind. If it ever comes up that I see it, I'll keep my eyes open for that. All right, you can see the texture now starting to show. I'm starting to get that ripply effect. Well, now I only watch happy movies, happy endings. Like Sing. And I have never seen Sing 2, but I've gotten enough of it from the internet here on YouTube that I now know what the story is about, and I love all the music. And I find myself getting all verklempt. Oh. When you see a daddy treating his son like everybody wants their daddy to treat them, but usually didn't. Okay, it is 1:43. It is time for me to take a break, make my food, and we're going to put this to soak with some vinegar to bring the natural pH back up. When you handle wool with all of the soap, you break down the pH. It needs to get a little bit more acetic, and it makes it returns as its sheen. I've seen so much. Oh yeah, well, let's face it, we've spent a lot of time indoors. And down south, like I said, we didn't have any live TV. Our TV was strictly whatever we put into the VCR. So, let's say that we got to know our collection, although it was a large collection, we got to know it very well because for 17 years we watched the same things over and over. But like I said, we were also always doing something at the same time we were watching TV. It was never just completely passive. Which it turns out, for old age, that's a good thing. Because the more passive you are in your watching, the more in danger your brain is for senior dementia. So doing all those puzzles, all that stuff, turns out to be really good. Okay, guys, I will be back later because I really would like to get this project done and off my table today, and I have to make the handle. So I am going to get this set up in the sink, make myself something good to eat, and I'll be back later. I don't know exactly what time because it's already almost 2 o'clock. But I see a notice from Timu. My order has been delivered. Okay, let's see what I got. I will go to my door, and it damn well better be there. We've had problems on the weekends where they abandon our packages at the front door of a multi-unit building. They are here. Okay, this might be very exciting or it might be very boring. Look at how this is packaged. What in God's name is this? This is the craziest I have seen, and I have to be careful because I don't know what the hell's in it. I don't want to cut it. Ah, it's mohair yarn. It missed the ride a few times, apparently. The order was delayed from shipping mishap or something. It's the wrong color, but my sister will like it. Look at that. Actually, that is very nice yarn. This is mohair, which means even though it will not felt directly, this will felt overall. Oh my God, it's like silk. Interesting. Okay. Well, my sister gets a gift because I really am not going to need that. Okay, let's see what's in here, because if this is what I think it is, I'm going to be very, very excited. I'm so excited. Maybe. I am. Ah! Da, da, da. Look. Ooh, one more thing. Oh, wow. Dig this. I'm definitely psyched. This is the one I wanted. Look at that yarn. Oh, super soft. Now, all of this is not wool, meaning it has to be fastened down the way I did these extra pieces. But I can make tassels and all that kind of stuff. It's all sparkly. Look at that. So this is all different colors as you take it out. You see all the different colors. Okay, this one is very sparkly. Now, when I ordered these, I imagined making things for kids more than for myself. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness. Now, this is the last I'll be buying of these. I don't need to get anything else from Temu. I've got 2 sources online that are much better quality and ultimately cheaper and more reliable. So my wool from now on is coming from Serafina or Living Felt. because as we discovered yesterday when I was unpacking my wool, most of the wool was correct. It was actual wool, but the color, the mint green I most wanted, because I've got a mint green dress I just got, that mint green was fake. It was synthetic and it wouldn't felt. So I'm not happy about that. Now this is so cool. It looks almost like feathers. Look how light and fluffy this stuff is. All of these are multi-strand, I believe. Well, not this. That's, well, yeah, I guess it is. 2 strands. Nimoy is the name of the company. I love that because, you know, I think of Leonard Nimoy all the time, but it's not Leonard. So we've got here again multi, oh my goodness, it's 4 strands of yarn in one. So soft and playful. Look at these colors. How many are in here? These little things sticking off almost look like feathers, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strands. Can you imagine how difficult this would be to knit? Wow. So we're going to have some fun this year. But I am done buying these multi-yarns because I have other things I want to invest in. Food safe packaging. It's a magic trick, it feels like it, right? Getting your stuff out of the bag. Just want to be careful not to cut it. But this is a generous amount, and all of these were the same price. They average, well, actually, okay, a little bit out there. They average from $6 to $7 to $8 at the most. I will not pay more than $8. Okay, let's take a look at this. This has a gorgeous aquamarine fiber in it. Okay, Nimoy, where are you? It's got more little tassels. There we go. Yeah, when I looked at this, it's like, this is needle felting. I'm going to use this to create gardens. Look at how fine that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strands on this one. That is just so tasty. All of these are as soft as air. I'm so excited. I'm going to have to take a picture for my sister and show her how amazing this stuff is. Oh, it turned out my great niece loved that little pouch I made for her. I already knew my sister loved hers. Okay, how many strands in you? 3, 4, 5. This might beat them all. 6, 7, 8, 9 strands. 9 strands in this. Wow. And oddly enough, my eyes are starting to itch. I might be allergic to something. It might just be dust or mites. We'll find out. But in the meantime, it's time for food. Indeed, I am going to just enjoy my treasures, and I'll see you later this afternoon. Until then.